Hello everybody and welcome back to Pokemon 3D. In the last episode we did stuff. And between episodes I did some grinding and now everybody is level 17 except Tian, which is level 18 because I can't turn off experience gain for individual Pokemon, sadly. If I could, that would be amazing. I can't. So let's go over the team real quickly before we get into the rival fight. We should be at a level where I can get to and through Whitney's gym and potentially even Morty's gym in the next rival fight without having to grind again. Potentially. And also, I looked up, we can go up to level 30 with our current badges. So we should be fine. So we've got Constrict, Sleep Powder, Absorb, and Poison Powder on... Oh my god, that's actually... This is so good. Wow. It's a different screen from what I usually do, right? Usually I go in this screen, but you can also pick this screen? I never fucking knew. Learn something new every day. Then we've got Tian with Locate, Leer, Focus, Energy, and Karate Chop. Nothing changed there. Kurt, nothing changed. Aspirin got Confusion during the grinding, I think. But we haven't had Aspirin on the team at all yet. So Confusion Tail with Disable also gone during the grinding, I think. And Scratch. And then we've got Razor, which still sucks, but now has Bite on top of everything as well. And then we've got Blaze, which has evolved into a Charmeleon, as you can see on the overlay. I think that... Ooh, hiccups. I think down there has Amber, Scratch, Growl, and Smoke Screen. Let's actually go into the stats one for this, because Shiny Charmeleon in this generation looks just like not very good. Shiny Charizard is going to look much better, but Shiny Charmeleon is just kind of like a waste. But before we can get into the Ilex Forest, we have to go through a rival battle here today, which let's just get into that. I was texting a friend when I started recording this episode, but then I'm thinking like, oh, I'm breaking my desk. But then I figured, you know what, I'm just going to start recording this, and if my friend texts back in the middle of recording, my friend can wait like 20 minutes for me to respond. And Raticate, we are very good at killing off rival Raticates. It's like the death Eradicate theory thing. It's been a long time since that theory was created and nobody really gives a shit anymore. So I don't know why I'm referencing it like 6-7 years later at least, if not more. As it turns out, Spaghetti still kind of a piece of shit. So let's switch out into... And I want to go into Tian, but you know, it's a normal type. We have the type matchup with Tian, why not use Tian? Tian is definitely the most powerful thing we have in the team right now, though Kurt and also to a certain extent Blaze do come close now. After evolution especially, Blaze is actually a fairly good Pokemon, but it needs a little bit of a better move, because Amber, not that great of a move. Karate Chop on the other hand, very good move. So it's mostly a move-based thing. Spaghetti as well. Spaghetti doesn't have the best stats, obviously. But then we have, let's go into Blaze. But then we have also only like two offensive moves. One is Constrict, which isn't that good. And then we've got Absorb, which is a little bit better, but still not that good. So once it gets like Vine Whip or something, it's probably going to be significantly more useful. Not that much, actually, so maybe not significantly more useful, but it's going to be marginally more useful, at least. So Fortress is just like dead, because it was everything except for anything that has even like the slightest amount of race temperature. It doesn't like fire types at all. And then we've got Fluffy, which we don't actually have anything specifically against yet. Defensively we've got Kurt, but Kurt doesn't have any rock or ground type moves yet. So I don't think you'll get any of those anytime soon. Is Kurt even a male Pokemon? Yes, it is. We have Sandstorm, I guess, right? That is a ground type move, but that's not an offensive ground type move. It does damage over time, but you know what I mean with offensive. It doesn't have a power stat. It doesn't do damage itself. It creates a status condition or weather condition that in turn inflicts damage on anything that is not ground, rock, or steel. Maybe it damages ground types actually. Now, probably doesn't, right? It's a ground type move, is it? It's a rock type move, so it might actually... My controller's a bit messed up. It might actually damage ground types. I know it doesn't damage rock types and it doesn't damage steel types, which rock types and steel types both... I get why, but at the same time, like, have you seen the Sphinx in Egypt? The thing that doesn't have a nose anymore? That is because of sandstorms. Sandstorms do erode rocks. As a matter of fact, the thing that gets eroded most in a sandstorm, like, it usually is rocks, and I'm fairly certain that if you just place a steel structure down, it's also going to get eroded by sandstorms over time, though it gets eroded very, very slowly, and steel would definitely have more of a resistance to it than sand. Especially since, I don't know exactly what kind of stone those things in Egypt, like the Sphinx and the pyramids, are made from. Probably some like lime sandstone kind of type of deal. I don't know. I'm not a rock expert, obviously. Rock is probably like one of my least favorite types as it is in Pokemon, so I don't know a huge deal about it. I'll admit that much. Here we go, the Ilex Forest. I really don't like this place. We've already got an encounter here. I need to remember, once we get out of here, I do have an encounter to capture. So I think this is not as bad as it was in Generation 4. In Generation 4, I think this is definitely much, much worse to do, because in this version of the game, it doesn't actually have like the branches you can step on, which, man, that sucks. And you just have to corner it, and that's just insulting. I'll never not be insulted by a revive and a nuzlocke. I know they'll be in every game and they're always going to be around, but I will always be insulted. I would have liked a Tyrogue. Actually, I'm kind of happy with Tien. I don't want Tien to go. So, where do I corner you is the question. There's wild sizzle in here! What? That would have been amazing. I would have loved a wild sizzle. Oh, you just need to like lead him back to his owner. You don't even need to corner him in this game. Just lead him back to the owner. It's literally that easy. So now you give me cut. I don't know what's up with my controller. But it doesn't seem very good. Yeah, the A button is stuck. Wait a second. I'm going to try to fix this by hitting it against my chair. I think that might have actually fixed it. Don't do that. Don't fix your controllers like that. Yeah, I might have to remap the A button to something else, because I just need to get a new controller. This controller, I've had it. Oh my god, that hurts. I also cut my finger. I don't know if you can see it. It's really difficult. It's all mirrored. I don't know if you can see it. It's like right... yeah. It's in the light now. I cut my finger in a really stupid way as well. What I did is, I have a chair, obviously, I sit on, as most people tend to have. But one of the wheels under my chair are loose. They are like... it's loose. It's just that easy. So sometimes when I get up or... roll around in my chair, it gets loose. I really don't know how to explain it any better than that, because that is really kind of straightforward. And I have to like lift up the chair, then turn the wheel back on and let the chair back down. And we only got Spaghetti or Blaze to learn cut. I know who's going to learn that move. Okay, I'm going to remap my buttons here in a moment, because this is insane. I might be able to like just fix the button itself. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I've got a way I think it works now. Kinda. Does this work in the general? It does. Gen 2, best gen. So yeah, I'm going to be right back and remap my buttons, because this just... controller is broken midway through a recording, which I don't know how that happened. Yesterday when I was playing Mario, it was fine. But admittedly, I don't use that button in Mario, so be right back. This is going to take a little bit of time to get used to, because I had my A and B buttons mapped to the B and A buttons here. as you usually probably would. And I have mapped to the X and Y buttons, because obviously there's no X and Y buttons on a Game Boy. Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, none of those had X or Y buttons yet. So for the DS it's going to be a little bit more of an issue, but for Mario you don't actually need specifically the A button. Why can't I go up anymore? What did I do wrong? I'm gonna do this live. I'm sorry the music disappears when I go into the submenus, which you can't even see on the recording. So yeah, I did a oopsie. There we go. So what was I talking about before all of that happened though? I don't remember. I really don't remember, so let's just talk about something else instead. The downside to all of this is I have no fucking clue how far we are into the recording of this episode. I think we're like 12 minutes in, but we might only be like 10 minutes in. Or we might actually be 15 minutes in. We probably won't be 15 minutes in because I'm 14 minutes into the recording. So it's physically impossible to be 15 minutes in. Also, yes, I did skip that item. There's nothing you can do about it. I don't know what that item is. It's probably not going to be too useful. I am very annoyed by the fact that we didn't get a wild scissor as our first encounter. That being said, I do not have Pokeballs. So do not encounter any Pokemon from the moment you leave the forest. Oh, one thing I did do between episodes, I don't know between which episodes I did it, and I might have mentioned it before, is I did... Can I fight you? I can. Okay. I did call my mom. In-game, not my real mom, that would be like a little weird, to tell her to stop saving my money because I wasn't getting enough money to buy the things I needed. So we are going to get more money from the battles we do from now on out. That might have been like before last episode, I am not entirely sure that. And another thing I might have mentioned is the patch of grass like to the right of the last city we were in. There's Articunos in there. I think I mentioned that before. I think we might have run into like one or two on screen even. But there's a lot of Articuno in there. The grinding there went so quickly. Once Blaze was up to a level where you could actually take on Articuno, it was no contest at all. It was just a one Amber Articuno that like 250 experience. It's insane. Miltank, I hate to do it, but you keep sending out these normal types, I gotta keep sending out a fighting type. That's just how things work. Also, I am aware that it's very stupid to be running around without any sort of Pokeballs at all anyway, because if I run into a shiny, I obviously do have the shiny claws to actually capture it, so I never should have no Pokeballs in my inventory. Unless I literally just wasted them all in a patch of grass on a Pokemon, but the first opportunity I have, I need to buy more Pokeballs. But when we get the Fly HM and we can actually fly around the region, I need to go back to Nuzlocke Town to get all the money my mom has actually saved up for me. Because you can't get that over the phone. And it's about like 380 Pokédollars, I think, she has saved for me this far. So we need to go back and get that, but I wasn't going to walk all the way back to Nuzlocke Town for just like $300. So I might and probably will forget about that. I would say please do remind me in Discord and or the comment section below, but it's not going to matter anyway because I don't know what the time of these episodes is going to be. This episode is definitely going to go up way before I even record going back to Nuzlocke Town after defeating the 8th gym. Because tomorrow is going to be the first episode with Johto going up. Because I'll date this episode. I've been dating episodes during my recordings a lot lately. Today is February the 4th. It's a Tuesday. Well, this is being uploaded like February 20th, probably, something like that. So I am a little bit ahead, yeah. But again, that's like the way I can keep up with daily uploads, recording ahead of matters. I do seem to be a little bit over-leveled for the normal trainer fights in this portion of the game. I'll readily admit that. But the moment we get to the next city and the... That's not good. Aspirin. And the according to Gym Fight as well, you'll see I'm not over level. Whitney's usually Miltank is, I think, level 21, I want to say. So I'm going to be level 20, something like that. And then we've got Morty pretty much right after, which goes to like 23. And if I don't have to, I don't want to do any more grinding between now and until after Morty's gym, which is the 5th gym in the Johto region. Yeah, the gyms will be... Is it the 5th? I think it's the 5th. Then you have... Let's see, we have... The 2 we've already beaten. Actually, I think Morty is the 4th. Yeah, Morty is the 4th, and now you've got Fighting type dude, Jasmine, Price, and Claire. Yeah, so Morty is the 4th, not the 5th. Still, we are quite a way into the region already, and that is because, obviously, that's the wrong Pokemon. You're literally 1 experience away from leveling up, aren't you? I need to remember, Sneasel doesn't actually evolve into Weavile in this generation. The only reason I ever remember Sneasel even exists is because Weavile, but Weavile doesn't exist yet, so there's no real reason to like Sneasel in this generation, I'm very sorry. But yeah, so Johto is going to go over fairly quickly, because obviously the game is designed in a way where you also go through Kanto, and combined Johto and Kanto, you'd say that's about twice the length of a normal Pokemon game, twice the length of Yellow anyway. Well, it really is more like 1.5-ish times the length, because both regions individually are much faster and have less things happening than, especially Kanto. Kanto literally doesn't have any story. Like, it does have 1 side quest you need to do, but other than that, it literally is just a gym battle after the gym battle after gym battle after gym battle after gym battle. So we're probably going to like average 2 gym battles per episode for a while there, once we get to Kanto. But even Johto itself doesn't have that much going on in like terms of story and dungeons. The Ilex Forest is one of the few dungeons you have to go through in this game, and you have like 1 Team Rocket event, and that is about it. Well, you've got 2 Team Rocket events, and they're fairly close together. But other than that, nothing really much happens in Johto, so it's not as long and as big as people generally think it is. Which means that we're going to go through gyms fairly quickly, especially like this early on. There's going to be a little bit of like between the 5th and the 7th gym, it's going to slow down a little bit, maybe. But generally, the gyms will be going by fairly quickly. And then again, in Kanto, we'll probably average 2 gyms per episode. So Kanto's not going to be more than like 5 episodes, I assume. Then again, we do also have a lot of catching to do in Kanto, so that might like lengthen the episodes a little bit, meaning that we have like 6 episodes, which would make 1 full episode worth of capturing Pokemon, which actually I think is fair. Might even be a little bit more than 1 full episode, and we might have like 7 episodes of Kanto before we actually get to move on to a game which I used to like so much. I used to love Pokemon Emerald so much, but I just can't love it the same way I used to, and that makes me a little bit sad. just being honest with you, that makes me a little bit sad. Pokemon Emerald was my first Pokemon game, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more once we actually get to it, and obviously also you notice that we are playing Pokemon Crystal at nighttime now. That's the downside of me doing this game, and you'll also notice that in any game after Gen 3, so Gen 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess not 8 if we get around to doing it, because the time in the world is based on story events until post-game here. And the wild area, I suppose, but you don't really get to go to the wild area that often. Anyhow, so yeah, it's just 7:15 PM right now. Again, the nighttime in this game is apparently... why would you ever go into a water type against a Voltorb? That just seems like a horrible idea. But it also seems like you don't have an electric type move, so I just like kind of got away with that. So yeah, 6 PM is the time it goes to night in Pokemon Crystal. Gen 2 as a whole, I'm assuming. That's a little bit early. It makes me seem very nocturnal while recording these episodes. I think that's at Skibloom. I do see a little bit of a pattern here where I only mostly use Tien, Aspirin and Blaze at the moment. And that's probably just because those are the 3 best Pokemon I have on the team, and those 3 pretty much like cover most of the Pokemon we're running into anyway. Tien mostly because of like pure strength, but also because we're running into quite a lot of normal types, which is just like a statistical anomaly, I guess. But then the combination of a fire type with a water psychic type pretty much like covers a lot of typings. More so than you'd expect. Don't go into the grass. I like these police dudes. I do want to get a move on and get some Pokeballs so I can actually capture a Pokemon here. But I'll battle the police guard because they only battle you at night times. At least they do in Gen 4. I'm assuming it works the same way in Gen 2. And you're an Aerodactyl. And I don't have anything to deal with you. I mean, I've got Absorb. But really, I think Poison Powder might literally do more damage than Absorb. And it doesn't do any damage. Yeah, so that is one attack Absorb, but if I poison you, you'll also get damaged on the first turn and get used against you. This might actually just like kill Spaghetti. It did not. I'm going to switch out after this, but I just want... You know what? Fuck off. I don't even care anymore. And who do we go into? Definitely not Blaze. Definitely not Razor. Potentially Aspirin. Kurt. Not Tien. I'm gonna go for Kurt. We haven't used Kurt yet in this episode, I don't think. Have we? I think we have, but not in a useful way. Have we? We might have. I don't know. This shouldn't do like any damage at all. Does more damage than I wanted it to. So, suddenly we're facing level 14 Pokemon. I just want you guys to realize that just a moment ago we were facing like level 7 and 8 Pokemon. It's level 14 now, which is double what we were facing before. This does about the same damage as Absorb did, which is a little bit pathetic. And I can't even use Sandstorm because it's a rock type. This is gonna take a while. I can feel it in my bones. And you can also see it in my bones because I fucking scraped off... Did I ever finish that story? I don't think I did. I think that was what I was talking about before I made that jump cut. So, yeah, I put the wheel back under my chair. And then my finger got jammed in between the wheel and the chair. And it's not a very heavy chair, but heavy enough to hurt if it's like, if your skin get pinched between them. And, well, yeah, that just like, it isn't really a cut as much as it is like just, I don't know how I would describe it. I want to say a wound, but that sounds so much more dramatic than actually is the case. I mean, it hurts. It hurts quite a bit when I put pressure on it or when it gets in contact with like temperature differences. So if anything hot or cold or like just water in general touches it, that stings. And if I put pressure on it, it also... Oh my god, I hit my light. That also stings quite a bit. But other than that, I mean, it's slightly infected. It looked way worse when I woke up. It was like, I'm not going to talk about that. It looked fairly gross. But then when I took a shower, it was a lot of the bad stuff was washed out of it, so now it doesn't look as bad anymore. But it's still a little bit swollen. You can definitely tell. I don't know if you could tell on camera. It's not that big. It wasn't in focus, and the face cam isn't even full screen anyway. So, can I buy some Pokeballs from you, my good sir or madam? I've got plenty of money to do so. I don't know why I am talking in this manner, but I am going to Great Balls. I'm going to Great Balls. Let's buy 6 Great Balls and then a couple more Pokeballs, just because Great Balls are like ludicrously more expensive than Pokeballs. And sometimes we probably won't need Great Balls, and Premier Balls are not a thing yet in this generation, I keep forgetting. I don't think we need any more potions or anything, so let's just save the money for the time being. But this is exactly why you don't want your mom to save your money for you. I'm not going to go into the gym, obviously, right now. But we are going to go... I think you can get like a free egg in here, can't you? I think you can. If I talk to you, don't you give me a free egg? I get a free egg here. How do I count that as an encounter? I'm assuming I just don't. You know what? You know what? I'll take Jigglypuff. You thought I was going to be upset there, didn't you? I'll just take the Jigglypuff, straight up. I don't mind having a Jigglypuff. Mostly because it's going to go into the box and I'm not going to use it, so... whatever would have been in that egg might have been better. But there's no way of knowing, right? That egg might hatch into a Mewtwo. Oh, but the egg would have been a guaranteed capture, while running into a legendary Pokemon probably would have been a guaranteed non-capture, so... Technically speaking, even though it would have been a lower level, but that's just a matter of grinding, right? That would have been the better option to go with. That would have been the better option to go with. Yeah, so there's only one thing you're legally allowed to nickname your Jigglypuffs, and that is Kirby. It literally is just Kirby. Oh, I was gonna battle this dude, wasn't I? We're 30 minutes into recording, but I'm going to assume that we're like 4 minutes from the end of the episode still, so we're going to be fine. No, we're not. We're not going to be fine. Level 7! What's up with the level curve in this game? What? I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. How are you level 17? On the same route we were fighting Pokemon that were level 8. Then we went into a Pokemon that was level 14. Now you're motherfucking Dragonair. Usually it's probably not a Dragonair, it's probably a Growlithe or something, and it's going to need the extra power. Dragonair don't need no extra power. I mean, it's not quite at the level of Dragonite, obviously, but... Dragonair! Same with Pupitar. I underestimated Pupitar. Pupitar, not Pupitar. I underestimated Pupitar, like, by quite a bit. I won't do the same thing with Dragonair. This is going to do quite a bit of damage, isn't it? Not that much. Enough for me not to actually use the speed button here. Please, I need you to get confused. You get confused and hit yourself is like going to be the most amount of damage I can do against you. I can do one more attack and then I have to switch out with Aspirin. I shouldn't have walked into this battle. I am very aware of that. But hindsight is 20/20, isn't it? What can we go into? Good? Potentially. Or Tien. I'm gonna go into Tien. I'm sorry, what? Wrap! It's wrap! I need to potion. I need to potion you right now. That's not good. Very not good. I think we might be saying goodbye to Aspirin here. Because I don't have a super potion. I was at 14. It was released from the rep. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Tien, here we go. We don't say goodbye to Aspirin. Aspirin staying on the team. Aspirin for life. We're getting wrapped again. I don't care. I've got more HP. I've probably got more defense. I've definitely got more offense to give you. Though I am not entirely sure. I don't think fighting is resisted by Dragon. I never can remember Dragon's resistances. I just always assume it's mostly resistant to everything. Other than the things that it's weak against. That's pretty much how I like do my resistances anyway. Okay, that definitely does a lot more than confusion. Usually I remember what's strong against something, but not what is neutral. And some very specific weaknesses. But in my opinion, usually, if I'm using a move, I don't really care if it's not very effective or normally effective, because the only thing I care about is it being super effective. Like 9 out of 10 times, right? And we got the Vine Whip I've always wanted. We're doing well. Now what do we get rid of? Sleep Powder? Definitely not. Poison Powder could be useful. Absorb? I'm gonna get rid of Absorb, because as fun as it would be in theory to use Absorb a little bit to get some HP back every now and then, it's not going to be that useful in Seismic Toss in practice. Seismic Toss is a move like Nightshade, I think, which does damage based on the level of the user, which would be 19 HP right now, and that would on average be like a third of a Pokemon's HP at this point in the game. So I'd say that's a pretty good move. Then again, it's only a good move if you've got nothing on your team that is like effective against an opponent, which we might actually run into a situation like that. Though we do have a fairly well balanced team, but if we run into a flying type, Tien wouldn't be out. But disregarding like the defensive and offensive capabilities of the typings, if we run into a flying type, we don't really have anything against that yet. No ice, no electric, so there was not going to be a lot we can do about that. I'm going to see if I can, you know what, we're going to catch the next Pokemon next episode, and then we're also going to do the gym next episode. But we're going to do a little bit of catching first. So, until the next time, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you... what? No, I was going to stop doing that. Until the next time, I've been Vlogger, you've been awesome. As always, bye.